Welcome to Still Untitled. I'm Will.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Norm.
I feel like we're recording at night, and I feel like we should use a kind of NPR voice for this one. It should be
These are really good sweaty balls.
good evening.
Well, we also need really fancy names if we're going to be on NPR.
Oh,
Like
I'm V. William Smith,
the
third.
I'm
Kai
Whitney
Rizdal.
Millard.
Kai
Lakshmi
Rizdal.
Singh. Those are real NPR names.
Yeah, those are real names.
Robert Siegel. Yeah.
You're just naming people you've heard.
They're all good names.
The sweaty balls thing. I was making cookies in the kitchen when it came on this year on the SNL.
Yeah.
And it's much funnier if you can't see them.
It's totally true.
Because it is a hysterical skit, and it gets funnier every time.
But here's the thing about the sweaty balls thing is that I thought it was funny, but I thought it was a little overdone when I first heard it. But here's the reason. Because here in San Francisco, we have the largest listener base for NPR in the country.
Yeah.
And as such, we have one of the more, I would call it, national
Polished?
sounding feeds.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that when you're in another market like LA or Chicago, 90% of LAR sounds of NPR sounds exactly like the Sweaty Ball sketch.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize that people actually talk like that because we don't have that here in San Francisco.
Well, Adam, I think that you may have overestimated NPR and the rest of the country.
Apparently, I did.
No, that's not to say that.
Adam, Alec Baldwin does do a really great show on NPR where he interviews people.
Really?
I listened to it this
Yeah.
weekend.
Yes.
I
was a
did.
musician- It was, who was it this weekend?
Kristen Wiig, and he interviewed Dick Cavett this weekend.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
He did Billy Joel when I listened. It was
he's interviewing all of
amazing.
his neighbors in Montauk. This is what he's doing.
Yeah. That makes sense.
He's got that great raspy voice. He talks like this. I'm interviewing Dick Cavett. He's my neighbor in Montauk. And you're like, it's like rich white people.
The radio show.
The radio
And
show.
Why is it
Rich
on
white people, the
NPR? Who would have
radio.
ever thought?
Yeah, I enjoyed it very much.
So anyway, I guess that'll do it for us this week.
No!
Christmas holiday gift giving season is
right
upon
here.
us. Yeah. Christmas, Hanukkah, the whole thing. It's all about giving gifts. And there's a bunch of ways you can do this. You can go tromp down to the shopping district and go buy the stuff that, with all the people that are in the crowds and
You can.
you're fighting and screaming. And at the end of the day, you just wish that you and everyone around you were dead.
Yeah, you can go to the ferry building and fantasize about mass murder. Or
The ferry building, I got to say, you can go to Boccoloni and get the salami and that's worth the
Makes it
trip.
worthwhile,
Yeah.
So let's talk about a Christmas buying guide.
Yeah.
But I'd love to do just a little bit of a local plug.
Okay.
Because
yeah,
you
absolutely.
probably both have like secret places you go to here in the city for like last minute gift stuff. Do you?
The trick is not to have a last minute
Yeah.
gift.
Oh, I always
Requirement.
have last minute gift stuff. I will tell you that in San Francisco, down on Potrero Street Avenue.
Avenue.
Yeah. Avenue.
I've
What
been here
Norm said.
22 years and I'm not sure. Is a store called Dandelion, and it's been there for decades.
Okay.
I will tell you that if you only have a couple of hours to do all your Christmas shopping, you can do almost all of it at Dandelion.
Interesting.
It is one of
it
my
things-
favorite.
Everything has birds on it or something?
It is almost like that. I mean, everything from beautiful little things for the table like salt cellars to desk tchotchkes to golf stuff to French Nouveau plates and glasses to, from the large to the small. The prices are really reasonable. The people there are amazing. And it has been one of our secret last minute gift locations forever.
Thanks for giving it away.
Yeah, I know.
Our gift trip. My wife's birthday is in the early December, so we usually go on like a long weekend road trip that weekend, and then that gives us an excuse to go hit antique stores or whatever we want to see
nice.
along the way. So it's both. I mean, poor Gina. We go out on holiday and for her birthday, and then she ends up buying Christmas presents for everyone. But it's fun because you get to kind of tool around.
Yeah.
At this point in my life, I like shopping for other people more than I do buying crap
So
for
there are
myself.
tiers
a lot
of
the time.
presents. There are presents for people you can buy on Amazon or
Yes.
categories of people. I guess it becomes something like Amazon. There are the people
Yeah,
that
let's
you
not
want
trash
to.
Amazon. Let's be
No,
clear.
no, Amazon is.
When I
I-
when I went home for Christmas on the East Coast, Amazon is the greatest thing ever because you go buy all the stuff for the people and you send it back and you don't have to haul it on the airplane.
Oh no,
and
100%.
It is a wonderful thing.
I'm purchasing the buy it now button on Amazon constantly,
Yeah.
daily.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what 1 a.m. is for.
You can get
It's-
booze, guns, cigarettes, anything you want on Amazon. It's there.
And then there are the gifts for the people that you want to personalize your gifts, and you buy stuff throughout the year, or you buy stuff in person, or you make something.
Yeah.
So lots. Of
I will
different-
tell you one of the things that Amazon is truly one of my favorite things for is big coffee table books.
Mm.
Honestly, the Amazon's
can't
prices on those, I'm sorry, local booksellers. I do shop at local booksellers. We've got several here in the Mission District. I shop at them. But for the massive
But-
books about mid-century architecture and stuff like that,
The publishers are local too. Like Chronicle Books is right around the
Yes.
corner, and they have a store downtown. So you buy it there. But yeah, coffee table books, too easy to
Hold on.
purchase.
What's your favorite coffee table book?
God, I just bought this really beautiful one about charnel houses, like houses of the dead, churches full of bones.
Pretty grim.
Yeah, but I it's
It's very
also
third
purchased
Indiana
a couple
Jones
of
movie.
I purchased a couple of big Ron Cobb volumes recently. Ron Cobb is an amazing illustrator who did a bunch of the design for the interiors of the Nostromo and Alien,
Okay.
and a bunch of other stuff that you've seen. He co-directed Dark Star, if I'm not incorrect about that. Just a seminal science fiction designer. That's the most recent thing that's shown up.
Norm.
I have too many. I like behind the scenes stuff, so I have all the behind the scenes Star Wars and Batman books.
Yes,
Sculpting a Galaxy, I think, is still my current favorite.
that's
Star Wars.
Which one is
That's
the
Lauren Peterson's book.
my friend
Okay.
Lauren Peterson. I'm in it.
Oh,
yeah, you one
It's one of
picture
the two
you.
ILM books that I'm actually
yes.
in.
Yes.
I Moonfire, which is the Norman Mailer
Yes.
book. It's a huge format coffee table book.
Yeah.
And it tells the story of Apollo.
We've got it downstairs.
Which is it's awesome.
Yeah.
The original binding I think came with like Lunar Asteroid or something and sold for $15,000 or something ridiculous. But they reissued it like 3 years ago. It's great.
That's
I've
awesome.
given away a lot of copies of that. So holiday gifts.
Holiday gifts. I want to talk about Etsy as a great place for
Yeah.
holiday gifts. There's still plenty of time to get stuff shipped. Remember that Etsy is an etsy.com,
Yeah.
is an international site, so you want to make sure that you're looking at somebody who's actually located in the United States if you want it here by Christmas.
When you can filter by that.
you can.
Yeah,
Oh,
can
you
you
can.
filter by distance from you?
I think you can filter by country.
Oh, it would be so much more convenient if you could do a
Yes.
radial.
Right,
filter.
Well,
right.
yeah.
eBay does that.
Like
Two-
50
yeah.
miles or closer
Or
for
2
local
day
pickup.
shipping.
Right.
Inside this
People
price.
offering 2-day
Yeah.
shipping. And I will also say that one of the things that I love Etsy for, and we talked about it at great length in another podcast,
In
but
the
one of the things I
future.
loved in the future, one of the things I love about Etsy is letterpress. Now, for those who don't know, letterpress is people who are printing things in the old way they used to, with etched metal plates pressed into paper, and the difference is just massive. It looks, what's that?
I have letterpress business cards. I have here. I will show you very
Excellent.
soon. Yes.
And they have a great texture to them. They have a dimensional texture.
They
to
feel
them.
they feel like a cloth almost.
They do, and it feels handmade. And on Etsy are tons of little boutique presses that make Christmas cards, birthday cards, anniversary cards, all of these things, and you can buy them very cheap. In fact, my wife and I just every few weeks buy a bunch of cards from different makers on Etsy, and we keep here. And I know a lot of people have an emergency card box. That's just our card box. We go shopping in our own box, which
not
is
gonna
has
be Hallmark.
at any
Yeah.
given point, 100 cards in it.
Here's the funny thing about letterpress, and we actually have a video about letterpress that's going up
In a few
maybe
weeks.
in a week or two.
Yeah.
Because there's tons of places in the city that actually do it.
Yeah,
Because all you need is one machine and a lot of hard work.
yeah.
Well,
Um,
and a bunch of fonts.
Yeah.
having and the typesetting,
Yeah.
but having the actual indentation and the texture, the original letterpress did not want that. That was
That was frowned
considered
upon.
Right.
bad.
Yeah.
But because that's such a hallmark of the letterpress
Yeah.
format now, it's what everyone wants.
Well, and the what's funny is that also funny is that there's a type of ink that is on business cards that's itself dimensional. They put the ink on
But
and then
like
they
puffy ink,
bake it.
basically.
It's puffy.
Yeah.
It's actually called thermography.
That sounds right.
I think that's what that stuff is called. I used to do graphic design for a living, and I can't believe I can't draw that actual word out of my head anymore. But that was actually a cheap way of achieving the same dimensional effect as old letterpress for
Really?
business cards.
But the other way.
but the other way.
Ah.
As long as it had some texture, I guess was the
I
goal.
think that's the buying cards, just unique cards whenever you see them, just to have a stash of them is a amazing tip, life tip in general.
I totally, as a
Yeah.
life hacker thing, it's changed our lives. And my wife really loves doing the organization of stuff like that. So we have this really nice like box. I don't know what it used to be, but it's got 150 cards in it with tags for what the
And you
categories
love
are.
the design. That's why you buy them, and you get to appreciate them before you give them away.
Oh, you also forgot that you bought them, so you get to go through like, okay, our niece is having a birthday. Let's look through the birthday cards. Oh, this is perfect, and then you give it to them. What's funny is then that they say it sounds a little weird. I gave a birthday card to my friend Tracy a few weeks ago, and she was like, "This card is great. Where did you get this?" And the answer is, "I have no idea. I had it in a box." Now that sounds like I didn't really care, but I really did.
Yeah, you went through and dug through the box
Right.
to find it. Just because
It's
the box wasn't at Hallmark doesn't mean your effort was not worthwhile.
I bought
Right.
it 3 years ago for you.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Right.
Um,
The card. See, I've always objected to cards because of the Hallmark effect. You got to go and flip and you find the one that has the
right.
it says this poem perfectly expresses my love for you, dear.
Yeah.
And
A real person wrote that.
yeah, I'm sure that there's a real person somewhere that's banging away on the keyboard.
Real person wrote fortune cookies too,
Right.
but I don't give those out on birthday.
I don't think that's true. I think fortune cookies are a sign.
No. There was
by
there was an
machine.
article about him in the New York
Really?
Times. There's one guy wrote most of the fortunes you got up until like 5 or 6 years ago.
If I was in charge of the fortune cookie factory, one out of 1,000 would have something either awesome or horrible.
You'll find love on Flag Day.
Yeah, exactly. Flag Day. Thanks, Homer.
So I also a couple of years ago, my wife gave me a beautiful axe for Christmas.
Like a wood cutting axe,
Like a
two
wood cutting
double
axe.
bladed, or one
No,
side
just
with
a
a hammer on the other
single-bladed
side.
wood
Okay.
cutting axe with a beautifully painted handle, and it was made by this Brooklyn company called Best Made. Now, Best Made has expanded out to a bunch of other objects, and it really is like the website. If Wes Anderson's prop master could build a website, Best Made is what the website would look
So
like.
if you need a sash with merit badges that don't exist,
they almost have that. They have things like beautiful blankets that wrap up with leather buckles so you can travel
Ooh,
with
I
them.
like that.
They have fantastic tools like measuring tapes that are the old style that snap out and become a solid one.
Oh, those are so easy to break and awesome.
I know. And so Best Made, their website address is bestmadeco.com.
Okay.
And
All one word, Best Made Co.
That sounds so much like a fake hipster website.
and it is such a hipster website, except for the fact that when they have stuff, what they have is really good. So I just bought this.
So is it? I mean, are they finding heritage stuff? Are they getting stuff recreated in Asia?
I think it's a mix
mixture?
of several
Okay.
things. For instance, I just bought this. It's a Lensmatic compass. Now it's made by they researched and found a German company that makes what they consider to be the finest one, and they sell it on their site.
This is, just to be clear, this is the knockoff of this is what we learned to shoot bearings and stuff with in Boy Scouts. Is what every
Exactly.
Boy Scout learned until probably the iPhone came out. They didn't need to learn maps anymore.
And this one's actually, so they brand everything. This is Best Made Co.
Okay.
And I will tell you, the box that they ship stuff in and of itself is a work of art. Each object comes wrapped in paper with a stamp that says Best Made. The paper itself, the paper packages itself are surrounded by like wood shavings. I'm not kidding. It came with wood shavings and like hemp spun.
Now this sounds a little precious, Adam.
And
Let's see the compass. Come
the
on.
compass. This compass is
Paint a word picture.
really
Wow.
one of the more it's the loveliest Lensmatic compass
It is
I've ever
absolutely
seen.
gorgeous.
And you'll see that when you actually hold it level and you turn, it's a very, very accurate compass. It's not spinning around trying to figure out what the hell direction it's pointing in.
There's a bubble level in the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
What's the axis on the side for? Is that to make sure you're not?
I have not studied
Wow.
up enough to tell you. I have the little book right here. I'm going to sit in bed and read it tonight. And they have a beautiful book that I also bought as a Christmas present for one of my family members called How to God, I wish I could remember the exact title, but it's basically how to navigate if you have no compass and nothing.
Oh, so it's the moss on the north side of the tree,
yeah,
and
exactly.
go downhill when you find the stream, and
Exactly.
excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting 'cause stuff like that. I always like the kind of anachronistic instruments, the slide rules, like you said,
Yes.
the fold out
Oh yeah.
tape
Well, that's
measures.
again why one of my favorite objects in the world is
Yeah.
my Curta
This
calculator.
is something that my
Wow.
grandfather knew how to use, and I would have it in the foggiest.
I have an abacus.
I
This
can
is
work a slide rule, or I
this
used
is
to be able to.
this is yeah. I'm just going to pause to derail this for a minute. This is called the coffee. It's like referred to as a coffee grinder. You actually the operation is ludicrously complex, but you actually set things here for the number of decimal points. You set your number on these long slides, and then you do addition by moving this, and then I mean,
Yeah,
all these operations. However, you can factor out like
it's
14 decimal
it's
points with this
Wow.
freaking thing.
yeah, it's you'd have to have a slide rule like 20 feet long to do
Oh
that.
yeah, no, this is non-trivial what you can do. And one of the things it was used for very frequently was rallying, for calculating
for-
rally times
wow.
while racing. Yeah, this
So yeah, at some point, some guy looked up and was like, "I've cracked it, guys. We've broken the slide rule. You throw out your slide rules. This thing is going to change the world." And then nobody could figure out. How to
they
use it.
made something like they made hundreds of thousands of these between the 50s and the early 70s when the Texas Instruments first
first
digital
solar- yeah,
calculator
yeah.
came out, and it killed the Curta.
Well, and if you think about it, those digital calculators. I mean, I remember when I was 8 or 10 years old, maybe 6 years old. I had an aunt who gave me what I'm sure was a phenomenally expensive Solar TI calculator.
Yeah.
That was the foldable. It had the
Yeah,
little
yeah.
little folding thing, and you could do. I think it had eight decimal places you could
Yeah.
go, and that was magic. I
No,
mean,
I
maybe
know.
not by that point.
You
but
could turn it upside down and write boobies.
One of the very
Exactly.
first obsessive lists I ever made
Mhm.
was I bought one of those early Texas Instruments bubble calculators,
Mhm.
the Exacta bubble strip, which was used on the handle of Luke's lightsaber, by the way,
Ooh, I didn't know
with the red LED numbers. And I made a list of every word that you could spell by turning the calculator upside down
that.
to things like boobies and
Yeah.
shell oil
Hello.
and oh hell.
Yeah.
Hello. There we go.
Yeah.
So back to gift giving.
Back to gift giving. Right. That's
Uh,
what we were talking about.
When you shop for gifts, is the best gift the kind of thing that you kind of want to have for yourself?
Always.
Right. So what do?
I'll often buy two.
That's the right answer. Yes. I love this so much, and I don't have it. And the fact that I would want it for myself is a sign that it's a great gift.
Yes.
And then buy two.
I also often consider things that I like to consider what wouldn't they buy for themselves?
But
is
what do they
sort of-
really want?
Well,
Right,
that's
and-
the hard thing. 'cause
Well,
the-
there's several
yeah.
ways of gift giving, right? Like there's the I really appreciate you gift, which I definitely I will give my producers gifts this year. I have some custom gifts for the MythBusters crew. I do those not every Christmas necessarily, but at least once a year I do a custom run of something for the MythBusters crew. And then there's the gifts for your loved ones where you really want to get them something that they wouldn't consider or they didn't know existed. And those can be the hardest ones to find.
Well, sometimes you find something that's kind of life changing. That's really easy. Like a few years ago, a friend of ours introduced us to this. It's a thermos, and it's just a thermos, but it's an amazing thermos.
The best thermos.
Because it's Japanese, so it's from people that normally make rice cookers, and you press the button and the little lid flops open, so you don't pour coffee on yourself while you're trying to get the coffee in the little cup while you're driving with your knee. And
Nice.
and like that's the kind of thing that like is a slam dunk. It's $20. You jam it in everybody's stocking.
$36. 16 ounce.
$36
They
now,
increased the
really?
price. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Ah,
criminal.
Been a long time since
They're
you-
riding the coattails
Oh,
of our
yeah.
popularity. It was So that's like sometimes you get an easy thing.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
And
But
other
then
people
it's hard.
and other
sometimes.
people do these things like they purchase gifts throughout the year. I've never been like for people that they love
Yeah,
when they
that's
see
really
them.
hard to do.
I've never been able to do that. I often end up overbuying for those really close to me. And it's actually I live in fear that my kids will be spoiled.
Well, I mean, you have a unique situation, and there's a real threat. Like
And-
that's
and-
yeah.
and,
It's good that
so
you fight that.
the number of things that I want to buy them, and then the number of things that I actually will buy them are very different numbers. But they both have abused my collection of high-end headphones to such a degree that when I found a review on Engadget recently for the best headphones for around $100.
No, that's a wire cutter story.
It was a
Come
wire cutter
on.
store. You're
Give,
right.
give Brian.
I am so sorry, Brian.
It's okay. He doesn't listen to the show.
It was Wirecutter. Those best headphones for under $100.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
I bought a pair for each of my kids.
Flat cables.
Yep.
So they don't tangle up. I wish I could remember what the model number is. They're video.
Oh God, Boing Boing had a pro tip. You want the inserts, the foam.
Yeah, the
inserts.
foam inserts for them, the memory
Yeah.
foam inserts.
Oh, really?
So that instead of the hard plastic that'll chafe your ear canals,
Oh, nice.
a little soft memory foam.
And then also each of my kids, they're both pretty accomplished musicians at this point. One got a bass and one got a really nice
perfect.
guitar.
So I mean, with kids, it's funny because sometimes kids ask for really unusual things. Like I remember when my kid sister was 6 years old, all she wanted in the world was an electric typewriter. Like she thought an electric typewriter was the coolest thing ever.
I still think that the IBM Selectric.
Oh, well,
We should do a dismantling video of one of those.
Although
someone's already done
I
it.
would
I'm
be really
sure.
sad if it's almost sad to take one apart. But we should do an anachronistic instruments.
I
podcast, 'cause
totally agree.
There's a lot to talk about there.
Because that IBM Selectric, the feel of hitting one of those keys and
yeah.
hearing the
Did you ever see the ones that had the macros, so you could program a letter into it if you did a lot of form letters?
No.
When I worked on Capitol Hill, all of the response secretaries, the ones that would write the letter responses, had IBM Selectrics, and you had to type the letter in perfectly once. But
And
then
then
you would just
press it
turn the
again.
dial to 25,
Oh
hit
my
go,
God.
and it would type out everything except for the address and the salutation and the date.
That's crazy.
And it was a massive time saver because I'm
Oh,
sure it was all
yeah.
mechanical, like it was all an electrical, some weird. I'd be thrilled to know how that.
I
works.
wonder how it even stored
It,
memory.
it may not have been a Selectric. Is the
Oh.
other thing. I wasn't
Oh.
super brand focused at that point in my life. But anyway,
Anyway, electric typewriter.
yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine's daughter only wants some little stuffed dog that actually poops.
Well, one year I wanted a badminton racket. I didn't even want the net or the. I just wanted the racket because I didn't really work out the whole mechanism. I just assumed that once you had your own racket, badminton would find you wherever you went.
I think don't get kids what they want. Get them things that they don't know they want.
Well,
You got to get them what they want.
at
no,
13, you got to get them what they want.
Even-
You're
yeah.
right, though. You can get them weird stuff.
I never got what I wanted. but
Really?
Now that I can buy what I want, I feel so much happier. I'm just buying old stuff and it's cheaper.
Yes.
Well,
I'm getting all the trading cards I couldn't get.
Norm, you're going through
Right.
your third childhood
Yeah.
now.
That's what eBay is for. It's
Yeah.
for all of us to go through our
Yeah.
third childhood.
I always wanted an AT-AT, and I never got one.
Oh.
You can buy one now.
You totally could buy one.
No,
Oh, you
now
can
my
get-
wife says I can't have any room.
Oh,
This
and
is the
actually, when I
problem.
was
Yeah.
doing, gathering more memorabilia from Alien, I bought the entire Topps trading card set from Alien.
Because the total value on the Topps trading card set is. I mean, what did your Marvel cards?
Yeah, they're
that were a treasure to you as a child
and now they're cheap. It's $30.
Yeah.
for a
no
whole
problem.
box.
Yeah.
Right.
Blind. Yeah, you just open. Norm's opening cards like crazy all the time.
So I will also say, Christmas buying guide. I'm going to go back to local. Here in my neighborhood, in the Mission District, Valencia, between 16th and 24th Street, is a tremendous Christmas extravaganza for purchasing. There's some fantastic stores, Serendipity, Paxton Gate, wonderful esoteric gift shops that sell stuff you wouldn't find anywhere else. I mean, I know my kids are probably getting me stuff at both of those places.
Well, and if you're not in San Francisco, which I'm sure a fair number of you guys aren't,
Yes.
then there's a lot of opportunities around the holidays where people do crafts fairs and stuff like that.
Yes.
And the places to look are like the local, not VA, the
The weeklies.
But look in your if you have a
Alternative magazine.
weekly
Yeah.
alternative magazine, definitely check there.
Yep.
Look in the newspaper, check Craigslist. They're usually in places like the Shriners Hall and stuff like that, like the places where they used to have computer shows. You guys will know what we're talking about. Go there and find your
Find your
crafts
maker.
fairs. Yeah, and there's a ton of cool stuff. out
Meet
there.
your maker. Wow, I can't believe no one's done that before.
We should.
Meet your maker.
It's the
Let's
local
edit that
Etsy in
out
San
and
Francisco.
have
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I just the domain's registered. Don't even think about it. We'll see. I guess housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
New site. The podcast is on a new feed. So if you would like to subscribe to the podcast, you can on iTunes. We could use some reviews. We don't have any right now because the feed's brand new. And as always, we'll be back next Tuesday with another episode of Still Untitled.
So we shall.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.